Hello everyone, I'm Alexander Trofimenkov and today I'll be making the banana cheesecake. To add a pronounced banana flavor to this cheesecake, I have added ripe banana puree to the cream cheese. Moreover, I have decorated it with appetizing fresh bananas. I have cut the bananas in half and used its curved shape and texture to create a tasty yet artistic topping. The baked shortbread base, banana pattern and meringue domes will look very attractive all together. The lime zest will be a fresh and contrasting accent in my cheesecake decoration. Let's start making my banana cheesecake together. Now I'll start the preparation of the shortbread dough for the cheesecake. It consists of the following ingredients: the butter, which is cold and cut into cubes, sifted flour, all-purpose, sifted ice and sugar, sea salt, the eggs, whole eggs in this case, and almond powder. You can use any flour in this recipe. I'm using all-purpose, but you can skip it and use gluten-free flour mix. You can use rice flour, corn flour, whatever. It doesn't matter because we don't need any structure and stability. In this particular case, we are going to grind the shortbread eventually in any case, so you can use the flour with no gluten in its contents and it will still work nicely. And then regarding the almond powder, you can switch it for hazelnut powder, peanut powder, whatever, or you can also skip it and use the same amount of the flour in the recipe. The preparation process is rather easy and straightforward. First, I'll mix all dry ingredients in a mixing bowl. I will add the ice and sugar, then the flour, the almond powder, and the sea salt. And after that, I will add the cold butter, which is cut into small cubes like these. This will ensure fast mixing of the dough without any overheating. The dough will be cold and flexible and we'll be able to work with it immediately. Now I'll start mixing all these ingredients together with the paddle attachment. I'll be mixing everything at low speed until the mixture resembles wet sand and there are no lumps of butter in the mixture. And after that, I'll be adding the cold eggs. Okay, so I'll start mixing. The mixing will take about 2 to 3 minutes, and it is important to mix on low speed to prevent the flour everywhere on your work surface, and it is important to make sure that all ingredients are well combined. After a few minutes of mixing, the mixture turns like this. I'll show you now. It is still powdery, but there are no signs of butter anymore. And the mixture resembles wet sand and its color turned a bit creamy. Now the butter is perfectly mixed with all the dry ingredients and it is the right time to add the eggs. So I'll add the eggs all at once. And I'll continue mixing on low speed just until the dough combines. When all the ingredients combine and the mixture starts resembling a real dough, I stop mixing. This is what you should get at this point. It is a really smooth and flexible dough which is completely homogeneous, uniform texture. It is cold to touch and pliable. It is not sticky, it is not greasy. It is like this. Now it is ready. And the good thing about this dough is that you can bake it straight away. There is no need to put it in the fridge, no need to let it rest. You can roll it down to about 2 to 3 millimeter thickness and bake it immediately. Or alternatively, you can crush it into small pieces and bake it like this. Since we are going to blend it into powder in any case, it means that there is no need to make anything uniform from this dough. So now, as said, I will roll the dough to 2 to 3 millimeter thickness between two parchment paper sheets, like this, and then we'll bake the dough in the oven. I prefer rolling the dough opposed to breaking it into pieces, because like this, it bakes more even, it has a more uniform color, and hence the better texture everywhere. So now I have the dough in the center of the parchment paper. I cover it with the second parchment paper sheet so that the rolling pin does not stick, and so I don't have to use the flour for dusting. And then I'll roll the dough to some even thickness, which can be different. You can go from 5 to 2 millimeters. It doesn't really matter. It will affect the baking time only. So the thinner you roll, the faster it will bake. Okay, once you're happy with the thickness of the dough, it is time to remove the parchment paper sheet, the one which is on top. And after that, I'll place the dough with the parchment paper underneath on a tray, and we'll place the dough in the oven. I'll bake the dough for about 15 to 20 minutes at 150 degrees Celsius until the color of the shortbread turns uniformly golden brown. The baking time in your oven may be different, since the one you use may be more or less powerful. It may have or may not have the convection. So I recommend you adjusting the baking time by looking at your shortbread, examining its color, and then deciding by its appearance whether you should bake it slightly longer, or maybe it is ready even sooner than 15 or 20 minutes. In any case, once my shortbread is baked, I'll show you the way it has to look like, so you'll have an example to compare. After about 20 minutes of baking, the shortbread has to look like this. It has a very uniform golden brown color, looks amazing, smells amazing as well. Now I'll leave it to cool down at room temperature. It will take about 30 minutes, and then I'll be able to grind it into powder. After about 30 minutes at room temperature, the shortbread has cooled down completely. Now it is time to grind it into powder. First, I'll break it into pieces, put it in the food processor, and blend on high speed until it turns into fine powder. If you don't have the food processor, this is not a problem. You can crush the shortbread using a rolling pin, you can chop it with a knife, you can blitz it in a coffee grinder as an option. And then sift it until you get the fine powder. I'll be doing everything in the food processor since I have it, and like this it will be much easier and faster. After breaking the shortbread into pieces, I'll transfer all these little pieces in the bowl of the food processor and blend everything into powder. After a few seconds, the shortbread crumbs are ready. They look like this. I'll show you closer now. So they look like this. They turned into powder of uniform, beautiful color. Now this powder can be used to make the cheesecake crust. If you're not planning to make the cheesecake same day, You can keep these crumbs at room temperature in a closed container for about a week, and then make a cheesecake any day you wish.